Jordan burst through the back door, messy brown hair sticking up in all directions, hazel eyes bright with determination behind round glasses. A grass stain decorated the knee of worn jeans, and the red hoodie had somehow collected 3 different shades of dirt. Gran, I need your help. The words tumbled out between gasps for breath. Gran looked up from her crossword puzzle, silver eyebrows raised.
Goodness, what's the emergency?
Mrs. Chen's garden is dying. All her tomatoes are turning brown and her flowers are drooping, and she looked so sad when I walked by just now. The words rushed together like water over rocks. Gran set down her pencil. That is concerning. Helen Chen has the most beautiful garden on our street. We have to help her. Can we share some of our vegetables? Or maybe... Slow down, sweetheart. Gran's weathered hands gestured toward the kitchen chair. Let's think this through properly. The chair scraped against the floor. But her garden means everything to her. She told me once that it reminds her of her grandmother's garden back in China. I know. Gran's voice softened. But Helen is very proud. She might not accept help easily.
Then we'll be sneaky about it.
Gran chuckled. Oh? And how do you propose we sneakily save an entire garden? Small fingers drummed against the table, thinking hard. Outside, a blue jay called from the maple tree. The kitchen clock ticked steadily. What if... The drumming stopped. What if we don't tell her we're helping? We could fix things when she's not looking. That's a kind thought, but gardens need daily care. We can't sneak over there every single day without being noticed. The shoulders slumped. This was harder than expected. Unless... Gran's eyes twinkled. We get creative about it.
Creative how?
Well, first we need to know what's wrong with her garden. Different problems need different solutions. Gran stood up, joints creaking slightly. Why don't we take a casual walk past her house? Just 2 neighbors out for evening air. They strolled down Maple Street as the sun painted long shadows across the sidewalk. Mrs. Chen's house sat 3 doors down, its usually vibrant front garden looking decidedly unhappy. Oh, Helen, Gran called out, spotting their neighbor kneeling by a wilted rose bush. How are you this evening? Mrs. Chen looked up, pushing gray hair from her forehead. Not wonderful, I'm afraid. Something's wrong with my plants, but I can't figure out what. May we? Gran gestured toward the garden gate.
Of course.
They entered the garden, and Gran right away bent to examine the soil. She rubbed it between her fingers, sniffed it, then checked the leaves of several plants. When did you last have your soil tested? Gran asked. Soil tested? Mrs. Chen frowned. I've never done that. See how the leaves are yellowing from the bottom up? And this white crust on the soil? Your pH is off, probably too alkaline. The plants can't absorb nutrients properly. Mrs. Chen's face fell. That sounds expensive to fix. Not at all. Just need some amendments. Sulfur, maybe some compost. Gran straightened up. I have extras if you'd like.
Oh, I couldn't... Nonsense. Neighbors help neighbors.
But Mrs. Chen shook her head firmly. You're very kind, but I need to handle this myself. Thank you for diagnosing the problem. Walking home, disappointment weighed heavy in the evening air. She said no. The words came out small and defeated. She said no to us giving her supplies, Gran corrected. But there are many ways to help someone. Like what? That's for you to figure out. Real kindness often requires creativity and persistence. That night, sleep wouldn't come. The ceiling held no answers, just shadows from the streetlight outside. Mrs. Chen needed help, but wouldn't accept it. There had to be a way. The next morning arrived with an idea. Jordan flew down the stairs, nearly tripping over untied shoelaces. Gran, what if we teach her instead of giving her things? Gran smiled over her coffee. Now you're thinking. What kind of teaching? You could show her about soil testing, and maybe other garden stuff too. Then she's learning, not taking charity. That's thoughtful, but Helen is quite knowledgeable about gardening already. She might feel patronized. Another roadblock. This helping business was complicated. School dragged by like molasses. During library time, fingers flipped through gardening books, searching for inspiration. Nothing. At recess, while others played tag, the swing set became a thinking spot. Back and forth, but no solutions appeared. After school, the route home included a detour past Mrs. Chen's house. She was there again, staring sadly at her struggling tomato plants.
Hi, Mrs. Chen.
She looked up with a tired smile. Hello, dear. How was school?
Good. Are your plants doing any better?
I'm afraid not. I know what's wrong now, thanks to your grandmother, but... She sighed. The garden center is clear across town, and my car is in the shop this week. A spark of hope flickered. I could go to the garden center on my bike.
That's sweet, but it's too far for you to bike safely. Then I'll find another way.
Mrs. Chen patted the small shoulder gently. I appreciate the thought, truly, but sometimes gardens just have bad years. But this wasn't just any garden. This was Mrs. Chen's connection to her grandmother, her joy, her pride. There had to be something. At dinner, Fork pushed peas around the plate in contemplative circles. Still thinking about Helen's garden? Gran asked. A nod. You know, when I was young, my mother told me something. She said kindness isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about small, consistent actions. But Mrs. Chen won't let us do small actions either. Won't let us do them directly, Gran corrected. But kindness can be like water. It finds a way around obstacles. That night, dream gardens bloomed with impossible flowers and helpful fairies who fixed soil pH with magic wands. If only real life were that simple. Saturday morning dawned bright and full of possibility. Jordan sat at the kitchen table, notebook open, pencil ready.
Making a list? Gran asked.
All the ways to help that Mrs. Chen might say no to. The pencil moved across paper. Direct giving. No. Teaching. No. Shopping for her. No.
What about indirect ways? Indirect?
Gran poured orange juice. What if the help didn't come from us?
The pencil stopped moving. What do you mean? Well, what if good things just happen to appear?
Understanding dawned like sunrise. You mean like secret helping? I mean like creative problem solving. But remember, this would need to be consistent. Gardens don't heal overnight. The pencil started moving again, faster now. We could... No, that won't work. Maybe... What if, Gran said slowly, the garden center had a delivery service?
Do they?
They do now. Gran winked. My friend Margaret works there. I'm sure she'd be happy to drop off a bag of soil sulfur if someone placed an order.
But Mrs. Chen didn't order anything. No, but someone could order it as a gift, anonymously.
Hope bloomed bright. Really? We could do that? We could, but that only solves the immediate problem. What about long-term care? The notebook filled with ideas, some practical, others wild. Recruit the whole neighborhood to help. Train squirrels to spread compost. Build a robot gardener.
What about a garden club? The idea arrived suddenly. Tell me more.
Not just for Mrs. Chen, for the whole street. People could share stuff and help each other, and it wouldn't be charity because everyone would be doing it. Gran's smile widened. Now that's creative thinking. How would you start such a club? More scribbling. We don't ask neighbors if they're interested. Make flyers, maybe? Have meetings?
Oh, good ideas. Remember, organizing people takes persistence. Not everyone will say yes right away.
That's okay. If it helps Mrs. Chen and maybe other people too, it's worth trying. The weekend became a flurry of activity. Jordan designed flyers on the computer. Colorful papers announcing the Maple Street Garden Club, neighbors helping neighbors grow. Gran proofread and offered suggestions. Monday after school meant flyer delivery time. Every house on the street got one tucked into mailboxes or under doormats. Mr. Rodriguez was watering his lawn when Jordan reached his house. What's this about a garden club? It's for everyone on the street. We can share tools and seeds and help each other with garden problems. He scratched his beard. Interesting idea. Who's organizing this? Me and Gran. First meeting is Saturday at our house. I'll think about it. 3 houses down, Mrs. Patterson was less encouraging. I don't have time for clubs, she said, barely glancing at the flyer. By the end of the street, responses ranged from enthusiastic to dismissive. Some neighbors promised to come, others made excuses, and a few just took the flyer with non-committal nods. Only 6 people said yes, came the report at dinner. That's not very many. It's a start, Gran encouraged. Remember what we said about persistence? Tuesday brought doubt. What if nobody showed up Saturday? What if the whole plan failed? Gran, what if Mrs. Chen doesn't even come? Then we'll try something else. But you won't know unless you keep going. Wednesday's walk home from school past Mrs. Chen's garden. The plants looked worse. Tomato leaves curling, roses drooping despite her careful watering. Hi, Mrs. Chen. Did you get the flyer about the garden club? She paused in her weeding. I did. It's a lovely idea. You'll come, right? Saturday at 2? We'll see, dear. I'm quite busy these days. The word stung, but giving up wasn't an option. Mrs. Chen needed this club, even if she didn't know it yet. Thursday meant preparing for Saturday's meeting. Lists materialized, snacks to make, topics to discuss, activities to plan. Should we have name tags? The question emerged while arranging chairs in the living room. Might be helpful, Gran agreed. What else makes people feel welcome? Food. And maybe we should have everyone say what they grow. Good thinking. People like talking about their successes. Friday afternoon, disaster struck. Rain poured from angry clouds, and the weather forecast promised more through the weekend. Nobody will come in the rain. The words came out wobbly, close to tears. Rain doesn't stop gardeners, Gran said firmly. We just moved the meeting inside. But doubt crept in like the puddles forming on the sidewalk. All this work, and what if it was for nothing? Saturday arrived gray and drizzly. Jordan stood by the window watching raindrops race down the glass. The clock showed 1:45. What if nobody... The doorbell rang. Mr. Rodriguez stood on the porch, shaking water from his umbrella. Am I early? Relief flooded in. No, perfect timing. Come in. By 2:10, the living room held 8 people, more than expected. Mrs. Patterson had even come, despite her earlier reluctance. Everyone except Mrs. Chen. Should we wait? The question hung in the air. Let's give it 5 more minutes, Gran suggested. Those 5 minutes stretched like taffy. Then, just as hope began to fade, the doorbell rang again. Mrs. Chen stood there, rain damp but smiling. I'm sorry I'm late. I almost didn't come, but then I thought neighbors supporting neighbors is a beautiful thing. The meeting began with introductions and garden success stories. Mr. Rodriguez grew the neighborhood's best peppers. Mrs. Patterson's herb garden could supply a restaurant. Everyone had something to share. What about garden challenges? Gran prompted. We all have them. Slowly, people opened up. aphids on roses, rabbits in the lettuce, and Mrs. Chen, voice quiet but steady, shared about her soil problem. "I have the same issue," Mr. Thompson said happily. "Too much alkaline. Been fighting it for years." "I fixed mine with sulfur and compost," Mrs. Patterson offered. "Have plenty extra if anyone needs some." The room buzzed with offers and advice. Tools could be borrowed, seed shared, knowledge exchanged. Mrs. Chen accepted help gracefully, not charity from one neighbor, but mutual support from many. Weeks passed. The garden club met monthly, but neighbors helped each other almost daily. Jordan often spied Mr. Rodriguez lending his rototiller or Mrs. Patterson sharing plant cuttings. Mrs. Chen's garden began its slow recovery. The soil sulfur from 3 different neighbors worked its magic. New growth appeared, tentative but promising. One July evening, Jordan stopped by to see the progress. Mrs. Chen knelt among thriving tomato plants, their leaves deep green and healthy. "Look!" She pointed to clusters of small green tomatoes. "They're growing. First ones in 2 years."
"Your garden looks amazing."
"It's thanks to the garden club. To you." Her eyes crinkled with warmth. "You didn't give up, even when I was stubborn. Gran says kindness is like water. It finds a way." "Your grandmother is wise. And you—" Mrs. Chen stood, brushing dirt from her knees. "You showed me that accepting help isn't weakness. It's community." The garden club flourished through summer into fall. What started as a way to help one neighbor became something bigger, a network of support that strengthened the whole street. The Harvest Festival in October showcased everyone's success. Tables groaned under the weight of vegetables, flowers, and preserved goods. Mrs. Chen's table displayed fat red tomatoes, golden squash, and a rainbow of peppers. "None of this would have grown without our garden club," she announced to the gathered neighbors. "Without one persistent young person who wouldn't give up on helping an old lady too proud to ask." Applause filled the community center. Jordan felt warmth spread from toes to nose better than any ribbon or trophy. Later, helping Gran clean up, a question emerged. Was starting the garden club still kindness to Mrs. Chen, even though it helped everyone? Gran paused in stacking chairs. "What do you think?" "I think, yes. Because we did it for her, but then it became bigger. Like planting one seed that grows into lots of plants." "Exactly. The best kindness often works that way. It multiplies." Gran's hand rested gentle on the small shoulder. "You show real perseverance. Even when Mrs. Chen said no, when neighbors weren't interested, when rain threatened everything, you kept going."
"It was hard sometimes."
"The most worthwhile things usually are. But look what grew from your persistence." Outside, November wind rattled the windows. Gardens lay dormant now, resting for winter, but the connections formed over soil and seeds remained strong. The garden club continued meeting through winter, planning next year's gardens over hot cocoa and seed catalogs. Mrs. Chen never missed a meeting, often bringing traditional Chinese vegetables to share and grow. One snowy evening, she pulled Jordan aside. "I have something for you." She pressed a small envelope into young hands. Inside were seeds, tiny black specks in a carefully folded paper. "These are from my grandmother's garden in China. My cousin sent them last month. Morning glories, they climb toward the sun no matter what obstacles they meet." Her voice grew soft. "Like you. Plant them in spring and think of how kindness and perseverance can change everything." The seeds felt precious as gold, weightless as hope. Spring would come again, as it always did. Gardens would wake from winter sleep, and on Maple Street, neighbors would help neighbors grow, all because one child refused to give up on showing kindness, even when the path seemed impossible. The morning glories would climb toward the sun, persistent and beautiful, a living reminder that kindness, like gardens, flourishes with patience, creativity, and care.